Hi everyone, I can't believe it's already 2026. It's been a while since I last posted. And honestly, the past months have been a lot. Uni has been extremely stressful and really made me question what I want to do with my life. But after a lot of thinking, I feel like I finally found a direction for myself. And in this new chapter of my life, I definitely want to start making YouTube videos again. So many things happened last year in K-pop that I didn't get to talk about. There was so many videos I could have made on so many different topics, but you know what? It's never too late, and I can still talk about them. For now, I want to focus on Cat's Eye. Last year, I made a prediction video about what 2025 would look like for the girls. So today, let's go through those predictions to see which ones actually came true. One of my first predictions was that we would see Cat's Eye at more fashion shows. Sadly, this one did not happen. I genuinely thought we'd see individual members become ambassadors for different luxury brands, like we usually see in K-pop. However, as a group, Cat's Eye has done incredibly well with brand collaboration. Like their collab with Gap went insanely viral, and now they're working with many more brands. And these collaborations have clearly increased their visibility and success. Another prediction I made was that they would release a pre-release single, followed by either an EP or a full album, and I was definitely right about that. Katseye released Gnarly, sadly, and after that, they released their EP Beautiful Chaos. I also predicted that Cat's Eye would release a light stick. I said it would be purple and yellow with a cat's eye symbol in the middle. And yes, Cat's Eye did release a light stick. Well, now the symbol is a star and not a literal cat's eye, but I'm still counting this as a win, even though the light stick is white and not a bit colorful, but that's okay. In my video, I said we'd see katseye perform in Europe and Latin America, and that they might even perform at Lollapalooza Paris. I was partially right on this, if you think about it. So, the group did perform and promote in Europe. We saw Katseye in London. They performed in London. They did interviews there. They did a fan sign event. The group also performed in Paris at the NRJ Music Awards and Star Academy. And they also did a fan sign in Paris. Sadly, they did not perform at Lollapalooza Paris, but they performed at Lollapalooza Chicago, which was huge for them. We did not see Katseye in Latin America in 2025, but in August of 2025, it was announced that Katseye will be performing at Lollapalooza Chile, Brazil, and Argentina, if I'm right, but in 2026. So if you think about it, I was partially right on that. Another prediction I made in that video is that we'd see katseye performing at more non-K-pop festivals to further distance themselves from the K-pop industry, and that clearly happened. We saw katseye at Wango Tango. Katseye was supposed to perform at the Summer Sonic Festival, but sadly this was cancelled due to health reasons. But this still confirms the direction that I predicted for katseye. For some reason, I thought we'd see katseye at more sport events. That obviously did not happen, but that's fine. But maybe, who knows, we'll see katseye at the Super Bowl. I can definitely imagine that the girls will be watching the Super Bowl. At least some members could be interested maybe in American football, and we'd see them watching this in the stadium this takes place or whatever. If you watched my prediction video until the end, you'd know that I tried to pull tarot cards for katseye because I was running out of idea what they could do in 2025. And my tarot card suggested that some members might set out events, and there would be some type of advocacy that the girls do, or public support for certain causes in one way or the other. Sadly, the first part did happen. Some members were sick, especially Manon. She was sick multiple times, and this can definitely be seen as some type of obstacle or delay. When it comes to advocacy, I recently saw that katseye Sophia did a collaboration with Mental Health PH. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, or it's rather Mental Health Philippines. Anyway, Mental Health PH is a nonprofit organization in the Philippines dedicated to promoting mental health awareness, reducing stigma, and improving access to care through social media. And basically, in this video, Sophia is encouraging her fans to talk to someone, to their loved ones when they're not doing well, and she's reminding her fans of the importance to reach out to those who love and care for them. And honestly, I absolutely love that she's using her influence and reach to remind people of how important it is to care about your mental health. Another terror prediction was that big artists would start to recognize Cat's hard work and help affirm their position as rising pop stars. And honestly, I've lost count of how many celebrities now have mentioned and voice their support for katseye. Like they are clearly being recognized and loved by so many people, which is so insane. I'm just so happy for them. I also predicted some collaborations that would involve mentorship and praise and guidance, and that absolutely happened. We saw La Fei. I hope I pronounced her name right. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. She brought up the girls on stage at one of her concerts. Jessica Alba appeared in the Gabriella music video, and Young Miko, the rapper, featured on the Gabriella remix. And this totally fits with the other predictions I made, which was that katseye will have a big collaboration in 2025, and this will play a pivotal and unexpected role in katseye's success. And that was Gabriella. Also, the collab with Young Miko, Jessica Alba appearing in the music video, this contributed to the song going crazy viral and the song's overall success, which eventually led to their Grammy nominations. Isn't that crazy? Is that not crazy that I got this one right? And I don't think anyone truly saw that coming. What did I also say in my video? I said katseye would win awards, and this did happen. Katseye attended major award shows like the VMAs, and they won Push Performance of the Year. One of my last predictions was that there would be eventually less confusion around katseye's direction. And honestly, katseye's music and concept direction is actually clear as day. I think the real issue is that people don't understand what katseye's team is trying to do because the execution is ass. It's awful. The music they're releasing is ass. It's not good. Like I said before in my past videos about katseye, katseye's concept is built on duality. On one side, the girls katseye are portrayed in the music videos as normal, regular schmegular girls living in the real world. The side of the concept is represented through the music videos of like My Way and songs like Tonight I Might and I'm Pretty. Musically, this is shown through very commercial, basic ass pop music. But as I've explained in my previous videos, there's another layer to this concept, okay? There's something magical, something extraordinary about these girls. They might even have superpowers. That's what I have hinted at in my past videos about katseye, you know, when I talk about the music video and the lore. This is where the other side of katseye comes in, which we see in the Touch music video. The second side leans heavily into some type of fantasy surrealism with elements inspired by Alice in Wonderland. And it introduces another world entirely that we see in Gnarly, the music video. And also it's represented by their new song, Internet Girls. In this world, the katseye members are rich, wealthy superstars. They live in Hollywood mansions. They drive Tesla cars and exist as larger-than-life internet celebrities, basically. And musically, this side of the concept is represented through hyperpop. That's why they're making hyperpop music and basic-ass pop music. But nobody gets that. And this duality is katseye's direction. And technically, this should be so obvious, technically, right? The reason people aren't recognizing this is because the music is not good. The hyperpop tracks are poorly executed and largely unlistenable, and the basic pop songs, most of them aren't hitting either. The music itself is weak, and that's why the concept doesn't land. So honestly, if you're being for real, I don't think I'm that bad at predicting katseye's future. What do you think? And this is why I thought, hey, why not do tarot again to see what katseye's 2026 might look like. So for katseye, I pulled 6 cards. the Page of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Devil card, the Seven of Wands in reverse, the King of Wands, and the Three of Wands in reverse. Looking at the spread, the first thing I saw is that 2026 will be a year of success for katseye on the surface, but there will be a lot of serious tension, restriction, and exhaustion behind the scenes. So let's start with the Page of Cups. It points to vulnerability, emotional honesty, and artistic openness. So basically, if Hype and Geffen allow the girls to explore new ideas and express themselves more freely, not just musically, but emotionally, I think the group can form not only a deeper connection with their audience, but also grow in a more authentic way. This card also makes me think we could potentially see some form of creative input or control being given to the members, hopefully, finally. The Page of Cups often appears when inspiration is fresh and when new emotional or creative territory is ready to be explored, So if their team is willing to embrace this energy of katseye, having some input in their career, katseye can definitely evolve into something more impactful and meaningful rather than something that was formulated by a company. And this change is reflected in the King of Wands. If the Page of Cups energy is honored and appreciated by Hype and Geffen, katseye has definitely the potential to step into some type of leadership role within the industry. The King of Wands represents vision, charisma, innovation, and long-term planning. So this card describes artists who inspire others by daring to be different. And I genuinely believe that if the girls are allowed to take creative risks and follow a clear, authentic vision, they could become industry leaders or even pioneers rather than just a random successful group that is being pushed by big companies. And the King of Wands encourages thinking outside of the box and taking calculated risks. And the fact that true success actually comes from trying to be different and to think boldly. And this boldness would definitely define katseye's public image in 2026. However, none of this happens unless Hype and Geffen are willing to abandon their current mindset. And this is where the King of Pentacles in reverse becomes important. This card warns against stagnation, complacency, and being overly cautious in your approach. What katseye's team is already doing with katseye's music and stuff is technically working. The group is successful. So technically, there is no need for them to change what they're doing because it's already successful. There's a sense of laziness. This is described by the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And the sense of laziness to sticking to what already sells instead of pushing the group to reach their full potential is disappointing. If Hype and Geffen refuse to adapt and take risk or invest more creatively, in katseye, this will lead to stagnation, one way or the other. And this will eventually lead to them limiting katseye's growth. Another major theme I see for 2026 is overwork. The Knight of Pentacles reverse can indicate burnout, imbalance, and excessive strain. We already saw last year many signs that katseye is overworked. This whole thing with Manon recovering from COVID, flying out to perform, fainting at the airport, being escorted in a wheelchair, and still performing the next day is not normal. It's very dangerous. And this kind of behavior used to be very normalized early in K-pop, and it should never be acceptable. What makes this even more disturbing is how little outrage there was for this. I feel like I can't help but feel that a Black woman's pain is not taken seriously. And this is the reason why this whole thing is not seen as a scandal. It pains me to see how this whole situation was easily brushed away, because this should have been treated as a serious issue. And I'm afraid that I'm pretty sure this overworking will continue, if not become even worse behind the scenes for katseye in 2026. But I hope if we see more signs of this, it will be addressed properly by the fans. And the Devil card I pulled definitely reinforces all of this. To me, the Devil clearly represents Hype and Geffen. while the chained people represent the members. And this card speaks of control, restriction, and some type of loss of freedom. I believe 2026 will be the year when the true nature of Cat's contract and working conditions become more visible to fans. And the fact that the devil card is basically, quote unquote, basically in the center of this reading, I actually pulled 5 cards and later I pulled the Three of Wands. So the Devil card was actually the center of the spread I laid. The Devil also points to broken promises and illusion. So I wouldn't be surprised if the members were promised creative freedom, protection, or even some opportunities that were not being fulfilled. And this realization that the Kansai members will eventually have this year will lead to serious internal conflicts. And I would not rule out the possibility that at least one member could consider leaving or stepping back because their contract feels too restrictive to their personal and artistic growth. Another important aspect of the devil is lack of protection, like I said. And the Kansai members, all of them, have faced intense hate, harassment, and stalking by so many people online, yet none of the companies has put some type of response out to help them or defend them, something like that. Maybe it's a K-pop thing. I think it's a K-pop thing to expect the company they're under to protect them and to file some type of report against people who are harassing their groups. But I would like to see that from Hype and Geffen. And Hype and Geffen is so silent about all of this, and this is very telling. And to me, this reinforces the feeling that the girls are not being adequately protected by the company. And once again, this pattern, we will see this more and more this year, and it will become impossible to unsee, I feel like. This control and lack of protection also connects to the Seven of Wands in reverse. This card reflects vulnerability, low confidence, feeling overwhelmed, and feeling unsupported. I think in general, this group may be struggling to defend themselves, definitely from public criticism and harassment, while the company remains passive. I also feel like the girls are definitely afraid to defend themselves in front of the people they work for in Hype and Geffen. That definitely also. I think this has already deeply affected their confidence and mental health. And this will definitely continue, sadly. And that's why I definitely would not be surprised if we see at least one member pulling away. I'm not talking about leaving the group, but maybe take a hiatus. Well, I could definitely see one member reducing fan interactions just to protect their emotional well being. And last but not least, the Three of Wands in reverse. This card points to frustration, stalled progress, and uncertainty about the future. I don't think I have to explain that the members of katseye may feel stuck and dissatisfied with the way katseye is being managed. We have seen how the girls themselves have hinted that they are unhappy with their music direction and whatnot. This card reinforces the idea that their long-term vision does not align with how the group is currently being handled and how the group wants to be handled, if that makes sense. So overall, I'd say this reading is very negative. Even though 2026 will be very successful for katseye, they will definitely grow and gain so much recognition and reach a King of Wands level of influence and success. But behind the scenes, there is so much exhaustion, restriction, lack of protection, deep dissatisfaction with management and contractual limitations. And as fans, I believe we will become increasingly aware of this mistreatment throughout the year. That was my reading, guys. These are my predictions for katseye in 2026. I'm still learning tarot, so it's very possible that I misinterpreted a lot of things or missed important aspects. So let me know what you think of my reading. I'm also considering doing an individual reading for each member. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching or listening, whatever. And see you next time where I'll be sharing more of my thoughts from inside my mind. Bye.